All right, EJ, thank you very much for joining us. We'll start out with Adam Jardy from the Columbus Dispatch. Adam.
EJ, congratulations on the win. I think there were 5 lead changes in the last 3 minutes. What did it take you guys to answer in the last minute there with those free throws to take the lead late?
It was all about staying together, and I felt like we stayed together to finish the game. And our 2 seniors fouled out, so those were 2 leaders off the floor. They were on the bench being very vocal about just staying together and finishing the game and rebounding to win the game. So I just felt like we all stayed together.
You hit the 2 free throws with 59 seconds left that gave you the lead. What was going through your head when you went to the line to take those? And what did it feel like to see him go in?
I was just emphasizing in the last 4-minute war that it's winning time. And it was no better feeling. I mean, yeah, it's no better feeling to get up there and win it for the team. I mean, I iced the game, put us up by 4. And I was just up there thinking, let's finish the game, let's win, let's go home.
All righty, we'll go next to Bruce Hooley. Bruce?
EJ, they doubled you a lot, and you guys had trouble with that, which contributed to your team's season high in turnovers. Can you talk about whether that was a surprise and why you guys had such a problem holding on to possession tonight?
I don't think it was a surprise. We worked on it, but we just got to execute better and be more connected. They were hitting a lot of shots. I feel like our defense helps our momentum on the offense end, and we were just getting stops in the second half for the first.
Thank you.
All righty, we'll go next to Tim Hall, 97.1 The Fan.
EJ, hey, it seemed like things were a struggle in this game defensively for you guys, but down the stretch, Penn State didn't score in the last 2 minutes. And I thought Musa coming in after not playing a lot gave you guys a big defensive presence. What do you think about his play and just your defensive performance at the end?
Musa came in, had some big minutes, really big minutes. Coach emphasizes stay ready on the bench, and Musa came in, played great defense, helped us win this game. And I can't thank Musa more for that.
All righty, next up, Patrick Murphy, 247.
EJ, what's the feeling after this game? You guys had a 12-point lead early. You let Penn State back in the game, but you get the close win. What was the feeling in the locker room? What was the feeling on the bench afterwards?
Very excitement. I mean, we were just happy because winning isn't easy in the Big Ten at all. Every night, a Big Ten team would come in and try to take their spot, and every Big Ten team comes in aggressive. You don't know what's happening on any given night, and we just came out here and played our hardest, because winning is not easy at all.
All righty, we'll go next to Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
EJ, just doubling down on the way they doubled you tonight. You kind of had some of the same problems last week against Purdue, but tonight you're a little bit more successful operating through it. I guess, what did you learn from that Purdue game that you were able to apply today?
I had 3 turnovers, so I need to do better on that end. But I just feel like I made myself more available rather than I did in the Purdue game. I just felt like I was more of a vocal leader on the defense end, and that helped on the offense end. So, yeah.
All righty, we'll go next to Brendan Gulick, BuckeyesNow on SI.
It's always room for improvement. A lot of room for improvement. We had some mistakes on transition defense, but I feel like it's always room for improvement, and we could get better every day. Still got to work on that, but gave up some buckets, but I feel like we did a decent job tonight. CJ Walker before the game actually was like, "Can you please go 100% from the line tonight?" And I told him I had him, and that was pretty much it. Yeah.
All righty, we'll go to Bill Landis from The Athletic.
Hey, EJ, you were in the lane there when Penn State had that look to tie the game, and I thought maybe you'd go for the block. You didn't, but he still missed long, and I'm wondering if if you play strategy there at all, knowing that you have a bit of a reputation for being a shot blocker, then maybe you can alter a shot even if you don't actually go for the block.
I feel like we were playing good defense, so I didn't really need to go block a shot. But if I'm there, I'm gonna try my hardest to swing, getting his vision to miss it. And I feel like we needed to rebound too. So happy Justice got 10 rebounds. That really helped us out a lot.
All right, and we'll wrap it up with one more from Adam Jardy.
EJ, defensively, for about 15, 20 minutes in this game, every time you scored, it was after they scored. What were they doing offensively that made it so challenging on you guys at that end?
Penn State is a really good team. They have a lot of great scorers. They play together well, but I just felt like they were connected, very connected. Penn State is a good program and have been for the last couple of years. And they know what it takes to win. They have a lot of older guys, and they were connected on the offense end. But I felt like end of the game, we got a couple key stops, finished plays, got rebounds, and that helped us win.
All right, EJ, thank you very much for your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
We'll have Justice Suing in next. All righty, Justice, thank you for joining us. Congrats on the win. We'll start it out with Phil Harrison. Phil.
Hey, Justice, congratulations on the win. You guys kind of punched Penn State in the mouth up front when things got off from the tip in the first part of the first half. But then they really pushed back, and this thing was going in the wrong direction for a long time. Sometimes it's hard to get that back when things start going downhill like that. What was the conversations like on the bench, and how do you get your mindset right when things are headed in the wrong direction like that?
We know going into this game that Penn State was going to hold back. They're a good team. They can get going really fast, and that's what they did, especially in the second half. They got themselves going, and it was making it real tough on us. But nonetheless, our team, we're used to doing that every day in practice, having to come back in situations where we're down by 5, down by 10, down by however many points. So we just knew as long as we stuck together, made the right plays, and stayed poised, we know we're going to come out with a win.
Thanks.
All righty, next up, we'll go to Steve Hellwagon, 247. Steve.
Can you hear me?
A little bit, barely.
Okay. Well, just talk about the determination you guys showed in getting that steal that you had there with about 90 seconds left. Just what did you see on that? Looked like you doubled down and came from behind and he didn't see you. Just what was going on then?
We saw that Lundy had a hot hand. He had it throughout the entire game. And we knew that at that possession that he was going to try and get the shot off. He was feeling real good. So I know that he was looking to score. I know he turned away from me. And he came back, exposed the ball a little bit. And that was just enough for me to get a hand on it and take it the other way, which we really needed. We needed to stop that possession.
Yep. And just how difficult, obviously, to lose a game last week here against Purdue. You didn't want to go through that again. You've done so much on the road. You don't want to give back any of that momentum. Just your thought about the alternative if this hadn't turned out the way you wanted it to.
Yeah, playing here at the shot, we have to defend home court, and we owed ourselves when we owed the shot. We owed everybody one to come here today and play with heart, and really come out with the win, especially given the last game that we lost here. So we're just trying to get that momentum going again, because we can't be losing on our home court.
Thanks.
All right, we'll go next to Adam Jardy, Columbus Dispatch.
Justice, as you guys have had to rotate through ball handlers and that role has expanded for you, you guys have taken care of the ball pretty well this season, but they obviously forced you into 17 turnovers. What did they do that makes it so challenging on you guys? And what was the challenge of trying to combat that?
Yeah, we knew that they lead the 10 in steals. They gamble a lot, they play aggressive, and they play hard on D. So we knew that coming into the game. Unfortunately, we let them turn us over a little bit too much. And, we're gonna watch film and clean that up. But we knew they were gonna be aggressive, and given me stepping up to be able to handle the ball and coach giving me trust in that, I think we do a pretty good job for the most part. Just little minor things that we need to do a little bit better on. But we expected it. We need to come through better with it.
That little sequence at the end of the first half where you guys were up and they got 2 steals for easy buckets there. What, I guess, can you take us through that moment and what you think you're going to learn from a situation like that?
Yeah, that's just unacceptable. I mean, we can't close out a half like that, giving them, turning the ball over and then giving them 2 buckets, So, learning from that, we just have to take care of the ball, especially ending the half. And because that ultimately, I feel like, is what gave them that little boost in the second half as well, had them feeling good. But as long as we take care of the ball, we would have cut that off, and we would have been. I think we would have been all right. But just little tweaks we have to make to our game, and we have to make them pretty quick, going into this next game on Sunday.
All righty, next up, Jack Emerson, the Lantern.
Hi, Justice. Congrats on the win tonight. Coming into the season, Coach Holtman said that you would have to get used to Big Ten play, the physicality in Big Ten play. Tonight, you were really active in the defensive end and on the offensive end. Can you just take me through how that has evolved this season as you've gone through Big Ten play?
Yeah, it's just about adjusting and I'm being persistent. Coming in every day trying to get better. Coaches go over film with me, and then when I get to the game, just being able to perform really. So, it's obviously a lot more physical league. A lot of players well coached, and coming into that from where I was previously, it's definitely a shift in it. But I feel like I've adjusted pretty well going forward, and we'll just continue to get better really.
All righty, next up, Brennan Gulick, BuckeyesNow on S.
I'm most prideful of just being able to do everything, my versatility. Coming onto the court, I know I can do a lot, whether that's offensively or defensively. So I just really try to do everything that I can to help the team win. And tonight, I touched a little bit of everything, and I'm glad we were able to just pull through really. So just as long as I play my game, I feel like I'm gonna bring a lot to the game as well. Yeah, like I said earlier, we knew that they lead the 10 in steals. So especially when it's game time, when it's time to close the game out, we really had to execute and take care of the ball. Staying together was a big part of it. Knowing that as long as we stay together, stay poised, we're gonna make the right plays. We'll come out with the win. So I'm glad that our guys were able to do it tonight.
All righty, we'll go to Colin Hass-Hill, 11 Warriors.
Justice, what's Coach Holtman like after a game like this that maybe doesn't play out the way that he would like, but in the end, it is the result that you guys want?
I mean, I think EJ touched on it earlier. Everyone was excited. It's hard to win in the 10. It's hard to win, period, in college basketball. So we celebrate every win, regardless if it's by a couple points like tonight or if it was by 20 or 30. We always are looking to improve, of course, but as long as we come out with the win today, as we did, coach is happy, we're happy. We're going to just continue to learn from our mistakes.
And one last question for Justice to Andy Evans.
Hey, Justice, what is the sense when you guys are, you build a sizable lead there to start the game, and then Penn State starts chipping away, and then all of a sudden they take the lead? What is your guys' attitude and demeanor there on the bench to be able to mount a comeback and eventually end up winning the game like the way you did?
I just think it was really our bench just being involved with us. We not separating, not getting singling each other out, but more so of us just sticking together. Our bench plays a big part in it. Pushing us, making sure that we stay on edge. Getting into our heads really, just to continue to push through. We know they're going to make a little bit of a run, and unfortunately they got on a pretty big run. But as like I said, towards the end of the game, we really stuck together and were able to pull it out. So we got the win, and we were happy about it.
All right, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you, Justice. Thank you very much. Congrats on the win, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, you have a good one.
Thank you. All right, Coach. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll let you open up with a statement.
Okay, a lot of respect for this Penn State team. I think they're really good. I think, as I mentioned, their metrics were all have proven that out. That they're an excellent team. They beat a top 15 team on the road by 25 in Virginia Tech, and thought our guys really gutted it out. I thought players make plays, players win games. They found a way there. I thought we executed much better late offensively and defensively, with the exception of one possession on offense and one possession on defense. But I thought we got what we wanted for the most part. Our guys made plays down the stretch, but it's a well-coached, talented Penn State team. And obviously we'll need to continue to get better and improve in some areas that we need to learn from.
All righty, we'll lead it off with Adam Jardy from the Columbus Dispatch.
Chris, congratulations on the win. Obviously, this game had a couple of swings both ways. I wonder how you approach it with your team. If you just say, I mean, I know there's obviously things you can always take from wins and losses, but do you preach the positive here that, hey, we held on late, or is it more, hey, we had a 12-point lead, then they were up 8, we had to fight back?
Yeah, no, Adam, I think you emphasize our execution late and their playmaking on offense and defense late. We'll clean up some things and address some things in film the next day. But I think, listen, playing at home is hard, and it's hard in a lot of ways. But it's give Penn State credit. I thought they dictated things for a lot of the middle parts of the game. We didn't play smart enough defensively. That's my fault. That's the coach's fault. But it's hopefully something we can really learn from and be better. But no, it was a really upbeat locker room. We know we've got to do some things better. We've got to coach better and play better in some areas. But, man, our guys, again, I thought really finished the game in a really good way.
You obviously had a number of challenges trying to figure out a lineup in the second half. Justin sat for a while. You had foul trouble. What were you trying to find? Because, trying to find that offense-defense balance. For a while, every time you scored, it came after you gave up a bucket.
Yeah, it was a really tightly called game, Adam, and a lot of fouls on our part. We just got to do that better, and it impacted what our rotation looked like. And we had some odd rotations out there. I think in general, we just weren't connected enough defensively tonight. And some of that had to do with the fact that, listen, we still have a lot of new guys that we're implementing into our rotation, and we have some errors defensively and offensively for that matter. We just do. So I think we're still working through some of that stuff. When we can have a consistent lineup of kind of older returning guys, at times we look a little smoother, but it was a little bit disjointed tonight with that.
Ready, we'll go next to Patrick Murphy, 247. Patrick.
Chris, you mentioned the better execution down the stretch. You guys obviously execute early, getting out to the 12-point lead, and you said Penn State did better in those middle areas. What was it that they were doing, or maybe what you guys weren't doing, that allowed them, especially the end of that first half, being the second half, to kind of get that lead and build on it?
I thought the 2 turnovers before the half, that was my fault. We should have called a timeout. I put both those guys in a bad spot. Now one, we've got to have better awareness of 5. He's a tremendous weapon defensively, always has been. I got a lot of respect for Wheeler. He causes tremendous havoc. But that last turnover was on me. That last turnover of the half. I think bottom line is we fouled too much, and they made shots too. Listen, Lundy's a really good player. He's a hard matchup. He's a really hard matchup. So Jones is a tough matchup. So they made shots. Give them credit. Brockington's a really good player. They're offensively a challenge to guard, and we struggled guarding them tonight.
And you've talked in the past about you want your guys to have fun with this year, given what's going on outside basketball. Both EJ and Justice said, winning is what matters. You're going to celebrate these wins. Do you feel like they really are celebrating every game and realizing how difficult, this is to win in the Big Ten?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's a good question. And I think what I have to do and we have to do as a staff is help them understand this is the best league in the country. It's historically good. So there should never be a night where you don't celebrate finishing a game like we did and winning it against a quality opponent. Now, it's the coach's job to figure out how we got to do things better, and we'll do that, and we'll move forward. We'll have a great film session when we practice on Thursday. But bottom line, I want them to enjoy this. Absolutely. I want them to play with a smile on their face. They're doing something that's really unique. And to finish the game the way they did, I'm really proud of them. As coaches, we'll figure out ways where we've got to get better in areas. But absolutely, I think they understand how good this league is. And I do think they appreciate every win.
Ready, we'll go next to Keaton Masano, the Lantern.
Hey, Coach. A lot of the conversation early on in the year was about Justice Suing kind of progressing through the Big Ten slate and the physicality that he was going to face that he didn't get in the Pac-12. And tonight did a lot of the dirty work tonight, 2 blocks, 5 steals, 10 rebounds. Just kind of what did you see from him and maybe how he's progressed throughout the season?
I'm just really proud of him. I'm just really proud of Justice, the way he's gotten better and improved and continuing to improve. And that doesn't happen if you're not committed to getting better and committed to working. Justice Suing is a tremendous person. He's a really good athlete. We knew his adjustment was going to be a one that was going to take time. He's going to continue to go through ups and downs, getting used to the best league in the country. That's defensively by far the best league in the country. I'm really proud of him. I'm really proud of him. He made big plays tonight. As you mentioned, 4 steals in the first half. And his activity across the game was really important for us.
And then down the stretch of the game, when you're in the huddle and the lead's starting to slip away and you guys start building a deficit, is the huddle more of a coach-led huddle? Are there players speaking up? Just kind of what kind of team do you have when adversity starts to strike?
No, we had a lot of guys talking in the huddle. Yeah, we had our leaders talking in the huddle. It's listen, I told them, you get to late January, February, it's their team. It's their team, and it's their team every day in practice. And obviously we'll take we'll direct them in terms of how we want to compete every day in practice. But in those moments, you want to hear players' voices, and we heard them.
All righty, we'll go next to Brendan Gulick, BuckeyesNow on SI.
Better. I'll have to watch the tape, Brendan, and make sure, but I've felt better about it. I thought it's just something we got to work on every day because we've got, again, a lot of new faces that we're just not very good at it yet. And you could say, hey, should you be good at it? Yeah, but we're just not there yet. And I've got to get ours better in transition defense. But I did think today was a step forward. Yeah. I thought where we struggled was side post ups. We got it there, but we weren't very efficient when we got it there because their post traps bothered us. But I agree with you. I thought Zed was terrific in early post ups. It's something we work on every day. And Zed Key was fantastic in early post up, early clock post ups. I thought he was fantastic tonight.
All righty, we'll go next to Steve Hellwagon, 247 Sports.
Yeah, Coach, want to ask you about EJ. It seemed like he was scuffling a little bit and in foul trouble guarding the big guy. And I think he had 10 of your last 17 or 18 points here and really, I wouldn't say put the team on his back down the stretch, but made some tough plays for you and hit his free throws as well. Just maybe the way he stuck with this tonight to help pull you through this.
Yeah, no, Steve, I thought he was tremendous. I thought he was tremendous, particularly late, his free throws. But I thought some key plays were Dwayne coming to his left and getting an open 3 after Lundy had made a really tough 3. Justice executing one of our actions to get downhill, and he got to the foul line to tie the game, I believe, and then a couple of actions for EJ in space. I thought he was tremendous at attacking there late. So you're right. I thought he played with great force, particularly the last part of the game.
You had a lot of good and maybe not so much good with Dwayne. Just you have to live with that, I suppose. But 2 games in a row, he's really struggled with his shooting. I assume you're just going to ride this out and assume what he showed you the previous 5 or 6 games is coming back soon.
Yeah, Steve, I would disagree a little bit. I think his shooting, while his shooting hasn't been necessarily where we need it, I think his ball handling, and you got to understand now that he's commanding a enormous amount of attention. And I know you do understand that. It's just he's got to read the game and make some decisions better, and he's made good decisions. He made some incredibly good decisions against Wisconsin. He's just getting a ton of attention right now. And, we got to find ways to free him up a little bit, and he's got to be a little more patient. He had an open floor turnover and a couple turnovers that I know he'd like to have back, but he also had 6 assists again. I think he had 6 assists last game as well. So he's finding ways to impact the game, and I'm proud of him for that.
Thanks.
All right, we'll go to Bruce Hooley, Press Pros.
Chris, I'm curious of your mindset. Is there any vestige of a fan in it when you get to that last minute? And is there any vision of Tony Carr doing what he did, or the Purdue kid doing what he did a week ago?
Well, thanks for bringing his name up, Bruce, after a win. I think this Penn State team and the Penn State teams that we've played the last couple of years have been good teams. Last year's team was a bona fide NCAA tournament team. I think they were a single seed probably going into the tournament. That team with Tony Carr, it obviously, I'll never forget it because it, not being able to beat them prevented us from winning the Big Ten that year. The league's much different. The league's much better now, 3 years later. But, I didn't reflect back to that moment. They have a lot of shot makers. So you're really dialed in on those shot makers. I didn't once think about the Tony Carr 3 that was hit here a few years ago.
You obviously want to play Kyle and EJ together. We all get that. But it looked like Lundy is a difficult matchup given their other big, and Kyle has to guard a guy that maybe, and ideally you would not want Kyle to have to guard a guy like that.
Yeah, he can guard him better, Bruce. I really believe that he can guard him better, and he did at times. But he had too many clean looks, and that wasn't just on Kyle. It was on a number of guys. We just didn't challenge his 3 well enough. But you're right; it's a tough matchup. They're good offensively. Their numbers are good offensively. They have a couple guys that are difficult matchups. We knew that going in. And he's at the top of the list.
Already got time for a couple more. We'll go to Colin Hess-Hill, 11 Warriors.
Chris, when you are deciding whether or not to go with Kyle or EJ or CJ when they're in foul trouble, what was sort of the decision-making process in your mind? And maybe it felt like the game could slip away and you wanted to go with them. Why did you choose to keep them out there when you did tonight?
It's my fault. I should have pulled them earlier. That was my fault. I should have pulled him earlier. Sometimes you go with your gut and leave guys in there in the guts of the game because I don't like risking putting them in too late, and the game could be out of hand. But that one was my fault.
You didn't have them down the stretch, but you still obviously managed to pull that out. What does that say about the other guys, when I know how much you talk about those two as leaders and important guys for you, especially in moments like that, but they weren't there on the court when you guys managed to secure it?
Yeah, no, I think we've got multiple guys that can step up. Kyle was the one where I felt like I should have pulled him earlier. That's the one. I felt like I was fine with leaving CJ out there because I felt like we had more ball handling that we had a good replacement for him, but I think we needed Kyle's energy and defense. So that one again was my fault. I think again we've got some depth behind some guys. They've proven that, and it was good to see some guys finish. Again, I come back to Musa Jallo. I thought Musa was tremendous, short stint, but he was phenomenal. He just really made it difficult for Lundy late.
All righty, we'll wrap it up with Adam Jardy, Columbus Dispatch.
Chris, as you were going through the second half there and looking maybe for some offense in a few moments, Justin only had one shot in the second half. And I know he played the same amount first half, second half, but what was the challenge of maybe trying to get him open? I know teams are paying more attention to him, but did you see Penn State make some sort of defensive adjustment where they weren't letting him get open, or what did you see from Justin in the second half?
Yeah, not really, Adam. I think we were just we were really focused on trying to attack the paint. So I'm not sure. I'd have to look at it. I don't know that they were aware of him. They were aware of him, but I'm not sure specifically if there was something that they did to take him away. They certainly were aware of him. They flew at him a few times, but no, I think, we just, we were really, we felt like we could get to the paint, and outside of our turnovers, our numbers offensively were good. The turnovers skew it a little bit, but our numbers offensively are good. So I have no issue at all with our attack. I thought it was a really good attack with the exception of our turnovers.
And with EJ, you talked about him a moment ago, but being able to lean on him down the stretch, I mean, that's something that I'm sure maybe you have some ideas on going into the season, but you don't know until the guy actually starts doing it in person. How much more confident are you in him and calling plays and things to get the ball in his hands in crucial situations than you were maybe even just a couple weeks ago?
I think we've been confident really, Adam, since, really a week or two into the season. Yeah, obviously we did want to see him as he was growing his game as a sophomore. He's obviously made a tremendous jump, but we met this morning as an offensive staff and talked about some ways where if it got tight late, we could utilize him. And, he really answered the bell with some of those areas. And it was good to see. I was really, really proud of him. And obviously our team needed it and made some critical free throws too.
Thank you.
All righty, Coach. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks all. Have a good night.